Hello, hi, namaste, good morning, good afternoon, depending on which part of the world you're checking in from. Hi, this is Sharda Murthy from the marketing team of Manage Engine, a product expert in AD Self-Service Plus. Thank you so much for joining us in today's AD Self-Service Plus webinar. Today's session is going to be all about password security in the times of remote working. Before I jump into today's session, I would like to do a very quick audio and video check. If you can hear me loud and clear, and if you have no trouble viewing the screen, please drop in a yes message in the chat box. All right, I'm going to wait for a couple of confirmations. I see a couple of you joining in the session as I speak. If you can hear me loud and clear, and if you have no trouble viewing the screen, please drop in a yes message in the chat box. Let's quickly get familiar with the console that we have. So the chat box is where you can drop messages to me in case you wish to communicate something. For instance, if there's any audio or video discrepancies, you can let me know in the chat box provided. That said, we also have a Q&A icon in which you can post your questions regarding today's session. So as I speak, if you have any questions that you'd like me to answer, please drop in your question in the Q&A tab. It's important for you to do that because I will be able to access only the Q&A tab when I'm doing the webinar. And also we will be able to check your question answers and revert to it in case we get disconnected or in case we have to reach out to you after the session. It's only feasible if you drop your questions in the Q&A tab and not feasible with the chat option. So in case you have any specific product related questions or technology based questions, you can always pop them in the Q&A tab. While if you wish to communicate something during the session, please drop your message in the chat box. That said, I would like to start on this note. I really hope that you're all safe, keeping healthy, your friends and family, your near and dear are doing well. And there's nothing more that I wish, especially at this point of time. I'm checking in from home. I am working remotely. I'm working from the south of India and we are still under lockdown. The lockdown is going to continue. So I'm still working remotely from home. The disadvantage or, the con of this is I am connected to a home network. I'm doing a broadcast of this webinar from the comfort of my home. So just in case there are any technical glitches, if there's a disconnect in the session, if there's issues with the audio or video at any point of time, please keep me posted immediately so I can check my connection and get back to where we left it off. The same holds good with you. I believe a lot of us are still working from home. So please make sure you're on a dedicated line. Since this is a broadcast, you will have a good bandwidth. You need a good bandwidth for you to receive the content seamlessly. And that's something that I wanted to put out there. If you do have any more questions or comments, please let me know. I am going to quickly jump into the topic of discussion for today. And I would say we have been under lockdown, or we have been working from home or getting used to remote working for about 2.5 months to 3 months, depending on where you are. So this session is going to talk about the importance of focusing on password security, especially during the time of remote working. I would say a lot of us are used to it. A lot of us are still getting used to working from home, working remotely. There are difficulties sometimes when you have to connect to your official networks and things like that. Administrators, especially, or IT help desk, face a lot of difficulties around passwords. And the idea of today's webinar is to basically give you insights on how you can simplify password management troubles and also have a good password security posture in place, especially while we work remotely. All right, let's start with why we are here. All right. When I have to talk about password security, this is where I would like to start. I'm sure every single one of you would agree with me. These are new snippets from the last 2.5 months. So basically March, April, and May. These snippets are from March, April, and May. And this is how the world is. When it comes to cybersecurity attacks, there has been a whooping 37% increase. just over the past month, and this is a news from the month of March, the number of phishing scams or phishing mails have increased by about 600%. Social engineering attacks have increased by about 37%. Major organizations across the world are being targeted every single day. The most recent hit being the Marriott hotels for the second time, in fact. World Health Organization was compromised in terms of phishing mails. There has been multiple attempts with respect to the COVID Research Center in the United States. And these are just a few examples, a very few snippets of what COVID-19 has brought along in terms of the cybersecurity spectrums, the cybersecurity scenario. And I'm sure you personally would have also probably received some kind of threat. You would have at least come across some news or personally experienced it as well, depending on the security posture that you have. In fact, this isn't surprising at all, but me and my father received a mail. I would say that for me, it happened in the month of April and it happened in the month of May. And this happened at around 1 or 2 a.m. In the morning. And these were mails that said, my account password has been trying to be reset. These are just very, very few examples of what is the situation we are pushed in today, right? And the reason I wanted to start here, the reason why I wanted to focus on cyber attacks or cyber security is because, believe me when I say this, nearly 81% of all these attacks revolve around user identities, revolve around passwords, and there are certain precautionary measures that we can have in place to avoid being easy targets, to avoid being easily compromised. All right, so be it a phishing mail, be it a social engineering attack, be it a user identity being compromised by a brute force attack, it could also be a reset process. All this is happening. It's constantly increasing. Cybersecurity attacks are on the rise. Enterprises are being compromised. The SFO airports was recently compromised. The latest news that I read was Marriott hotels, which is the second cybersecurity attack that they have faced. And the ground reality of today is that you, I, and every single organization across the world could be potential targets. All right. Today's focus is going to be more about what we can do as administrators, what we can do as IT security specialists, or what we can urge users to do in our organization to make sure that user identities are not easily compromised. We are not easy targets when it comes to cybersecurity attacks, and how simple precautionary measures can keep us way ahead when it comes to cybersecurity attacks. That is going to be the agenda put forth in front of us today. All right, I just received a message saying the connection is not stable. Thank you so much for the update, Muhammad. Can you guys please confirm if you can hear me loud and clear and if you have no trouble viewing the screen? I'm just going to wait in for a couple of confirmations before I can proceed with today's session. All right. Perfect. All right. I would humbly request all of you to also make sure that you are on a dedicated line. Please check your connection as well. Simply because this is a broadcast, so your bandwidth also matters in order to receive the content seamlessly. So please make sure you check your connection as well. Thank you so much. Thank you for all your confirmations. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. So now that we are aware of what's happening around the world, if either of you have received a compromised mail, some kind of phishing mail, I received a lot of phishing mails in the last 3-4 months, but I'm not surprised because this is something that I talk about every single day. So if you or anybody you know have received these password reset mails or potential login activity or even phishing mails, please don't worry, because we're going to talk about the importance of password security with Active Directory as the core. All right, that is the agenda put forth in front of me today. I'm going to start by talking about the major issue when it comes to password security, especially for employees working remotely, especially for Active Directory based organizations. And even today, after multiple other directory services that are available, nearly 90% of the Fortune 500 companies across the world still have a Windows infrastructure, simply because it's extremely reliable. It does the job really well. I'm sure a lot of us still make use of native Windows Active Directory as well in our organization. So the biggest drawback that I see when I talk about Active Directory is the fact that password resets are not done. There is no feasibility provided by Microsoft, provided by the native tool to perform password resets, especially for remote employees, all right? The focus here is remote employees, because when we talk about Active Directory password resets, all that we are used to all these years is to simply call up the help desk and say, my password is expired, can you please reset my password? Or I've forgotten my password, can you please reset my password? This is something that we are used to. This is something that has been happening majorly. So let's start right there. Let's fix that particular issue. It's important to allow users to take care of their own password resets, and also allow them to reset their passwords securely and remotely. This is where I'm going to start today's session. I have an AD Self-Service Plus setup pre-configured. So if you are looking to make use of the AD Self-Service Plus setup that you already have, please go ahead. You can walk with me through the session. For those of you who are new to AD Self-Service Plus, I have passed the demo link on the chat box. Please access the chat box to redirect yourself to the online demo link. Click on administrative login and you will be able to do all and pretty much everything that I will be doing throughout today's session. All right, so what I've done is I've pre-configured AD Self-Service Plus for today's session. My domain configuration is done pretty self-explanatory, but if you have any specific questions that you'd like me to answer, please pop them. I have built 3 self-service policies with different self-service permissions, basically allowing users in the organization to take care of their own password resets and account unlocks. But the focus for today is going to be around password security, and this is where I'm going to start today's session, which is multi-factor authentication. When I allow users in my organization to take care of their own password resets, depending on wherever they are, whichever part of the world, whichever part of the country they belong to, working remotely, not sitting at office and taking care of password resets, it's very, very critical for me to make sure that the right person has the right access to the right machine at the right time and is going through a legit password reset operation. And one of the easiest ways to do that is by multi-factor authentication. I will not rest saying this. Multi-factor authentication is extremely crucial, not just for your Active Directory, not just for password resets, but even for logons across multiple consoles, across multiple applications. Please ensure that you have more than one factor of authentication for logon, more than one factor of authentication for resets. And it's extremely critical because 2 is always better than 1. Compromising your Active Directory credentials or compromising one single set of passwords is much easier than trying to break into 2 authenticators, trying to break into authenticators that are more complex like biometrics, authenticators that are more complex like unique codes, time-based codes, and I will not rest insisting on this. So it's really important for you to ensure that you have multi-factor authentication enabled. And especially when we do it for password resets, I would recommend a minimum of 2 or 3 authenticators in place to have in place. And I have a question that says, is it something related to self-service tool? Rohit, can you please elaborate on your question? Are you talking about AD Self-Service Plus, or are you generally asking about a password self-service tool? All right, so as you can see, I have about 15 authenticators that I can pick from, whereas I have security question answer, email verification, Google, Microsoft, fingerprint, and time-based one-time password authentication, which is being enabled. Yes, Rohit, the session is about a password self-service tool. This is a Manage Engine AD Self-Service Plus webinar. I'm going to walk you through how you can make use of AD Self-Service Plus to improve the password security of your organization. All right, if you do have any more questions, please keep them coming. I would be more than happy to take your questions live. So as you can see, I have a couple of authenticators automatically enabled. I have pre-configured these, pretty simple. I have app-based authentication. I have an email-based authentication. I have the fingerprint authentication, which is an AD self-service plus mobile app-based authentication. Again, time-based codes. I'm going to quickly jump to the authenticator settings to show you that I have a minimum of 2 multi-factor authentication authenticators enabled for reset passwords or account unlocks. I also have a couple of authenticators listed right here, and it has been set as mandatory. Now let me show you how this works from an end user's perspective. All right. Once again, like I mentioned, I'm working remotely. I'm sitting at the comfort of my home. I'm not within the office premises, but I will still be able to perform a change password operation or a password reset operation or account unlock operation remotely with AD Self-Service Plus right from my Jina CP console. All I need to do is hit reset password or change password. And remember that this particular tool allows users to primitively reset password irrespective of where they are. It could be a web-based password reset. It could be a password reset done from a mobile app, mobile browser. It could also be done right here from the Jina CP console. But what's really important, or what I want to stress upon, is the fact that, especially during the times of remote working, the password-related help desk calls has spiked, and usually it's about 30 to 40%. Gartner tells it's about 40%. But in the last 3 months, this is also a Gartner report, in the last 3 months, organizations have had a spike in password-related help desk calls. And this is one of the easiest ways to cope up with password reset calls, but at the same time, allowing users to take care of their own password reset actions securely. All right. So as you can see, I gave in my domain name, I entered the CAPTCHA, and all I need to do is answer my security question, which is a mandatory method of authentication. Once I've done that, I have 4 different authenticators that I can pick from. Let me pick the Microsoft Authenticator. It's an app-based authentication. I have the secure code that reaches my mobile app. I have not screencasted my app because it's a personal device, but I'm going to quickly enter the code there. All right, click on continue, and you can see that I'm redirected to the reset password page. So as an end user working remotely without being in the office network, I have been able to take care of my own password reset operation without having to call the help desk. And my favorite part about this is the fact that I will also be able to self-service password resets for multiple accounts, both on-premises and cloud-based accounts, with password synchronization. So if I choose to have one new password for both AD as well as, let's say, Office 365, I have an Office 365 configuration right here, I will be able to do that. And the password that I reset has to comply with the password policy that I've enforced. So if you remember, I started the session talking about COVID attacks, increase in cyber attacks because of COVID-19, because of remote working. And here I am talking about allowing users to take care of their own password resets, right? So somewhere down the lane, there might be a small inch of uncertainty to allow users to take care of their own password resets, especially at this point of time, especially when we are working remotely, especially when cybersecurity attacks are on the rise. But let me clarify this. Not only am I allowing the user to perform their own password resets, I'm also ensuring that the right person has the right access to the right machine with multiple factors of authentication, customizable based on OUs and groups present in the Active Directory. I can selectively give permissions to users to take care of their own password resets. I can also allow users to reset their Office 365 G Suite and multiple other on-premises and cloud passwords. And all this is happening right from the Jina CDP console without even having to log into my machine. All right. So the importance, or my favorite part about this particular solution, is the fact that security is not compromised while usability is given a lot of importance to. I, as an end user, will be able to take care of my own password resets, account unlocks remotely for AD, for Azure Active Directory, for multiple other on-premises and cloud applications, and at the same time securely, because I have authenticators in place, which my administrator can selectively configure based on OUs and groups present in the Active Directory. By simply adding an additional layer of authentication for password resets, 1 or 2, you can work with different authenticators that work best for users in your organization. Let me tell you this, when I said 81% of cybersecurity attacks happen around user credentials, around passwords, there are 3 main factors that attribute to an easy compromise of user identity, and that is simply stolen passwords, weak passwords, and misused user credentials. And I'm going to address all 3 concepts today. I'm going to address how we can handle or tackle stolen passwords, how we can tackle weak passwords, and how we'll also be able to tackle misused user credentials. So one of the easiest ways to break into your network is to try to pretend to be a user and try to perform a password reset operation, be it to an SAML enabled single sign-on application, be it to your native Windows Active Directory itself with the self-service tool. And like I said, when we talk about security, something that's extremely critical is to not allow another person to even have access to a user's password, even for a brief period of time, even if it's an administrator. I'll tell you how it traditionally happens based on the little experience that I have. You call the help desk, they reset your password, and most of the time it's an automated password that is being reset, and they share your credentials via email, via chat, or even via SMS. That is where the trouble is. Not only are you giving access to your account, your personal details to somebody for a brief period of time, it's also a password that is shared over as text over a medium, which can be easily compromised. All right, let's not look at ADUC password resets anymore. Let's focus on securing password self-service. Let's look at securing password self-service with multiple factors of authentication. Allow users to take care of their own password resets for both on-premises and cloud applications. Have a minimum of 2 authenticators in place to ensure that the right person is going through the right operation to reset their password or to unlock their account without the help desk intervening. Because at this point of time, it's important for your help desk to focus on more critical tasks in hand, to focus on something more critical than password resets, which a user will very well be able to take care of. It's not something that's new. Trust me when I say this, it's not something that's new at all. We handle our own bank transactions with multiple factors of authentication. We are used to authenticators. We log in and reset passwords for our Facebook accounts, for our mail accounts, for most cloud applications, in fact. So why not for the native Active Directory itself? And trust me, every single user will seamlessly be able to use password self-service for their Active Directory itself once the security is taken care of. Coming to a very, very critical aspect of today's session, when I talk about password security, I make sure that I touch upon password expiration reminders. Even if it's 5 hours of idle time, even if it's 1 hour of idle time, it is very, very critical for us to not have idle accounts. It's very, very critical for us to not have user accounts that are not in use. It's very critical for us to disable such accounts, keep users notified about their password expiry, keep users notified about their account expiry. And one of the easiest ways to do this is with the password expiration reminder. Once again, this is where you can configure password expiry notification. You can see that I have a soon to expire password notification scheduler pre-configured and running. I'm going to access my Gmail account. This is a test account that I'm working with. I've created this for the workshop purpose. And I want you to notice that I have a weekly, a daily, and a scheduled on specific day reminder or notification reminder via email that tells me which user accounts passwords are going to expire or have they expired and when. All right. What I've done in the background is I've simply created a couple of test users. Let me show you how this works. I've created a couple of test users for the workshop purpose, mapped all of them to one particular mail ID. Sorry about that. Yeah, mapped everybody to one particular mail ID. And what I've done is I've created a scheduler so I can be notified of which user's password is going to expire and when. And I am notified. Right here, I have a set frequency in which I know which user's password is going to expire. This is as good as this morning, India time. All right. And I think this is very, very critical once again, because we do not want password expired user accounts. They are the easiest targets when it comes to user identity being misused. What typically happens even in AD is if you do not remember your expired password, you can easily go through a password reset operation, or if your password is expired and if there is a brute force attack, what happens is AD automatically takes you to the reset password page, to the change password page. And it's very, very critical for us to make sure that we do not have we do not have stale accounts. It's very, very important to make sure that we do not have password expired accounts. And you can do that by scheduling a notification. Send them a notification via email, SMS, or push notification. Keep them notified about password expiry. Keep them notified about account expiry. You can also notify users about their password expired statuses. All right. So let's say my password expires today at about 6 p.m. in the evening, and I've checked out at 5, which means there's a bandwidth of 12 hours in which a potential threat can get access to my AD account, because my account's password is expired and it becomes an easy target. All right. AD will automatically redirect you to the change password page when you attempt, and it just makes the job easy. All right. Keep a tab on password soon to expire password users reports. It's very, very critical. Keep a tab and notify users periodically. Make sure you do not have stale accounts. I cannot stress enough upon this. All right. Moving on, if you do have any more specific questions, please keep them coming. When I talk about, I've spoken about how you can prevent misused user credentials in 2 ways. One is to make sure you do not have any stale user accounts, and 2 is by having multiple factors of authentication during password resets. I'm going to move on and focus on logons and why securing logons with 2-factor authentication is very, very important, very, very critical, and how every single user has to verify their identity, not just with the native AD credentials, but once again with an additional factor of authentication before getting access to their Windows, Mac, or Linux systems, before getting access to their applications. Why it's critical, and I'm going to show you how you can do it. In the meantime, if you do have any questions, please keep them coming in the questions tab. I would love to take time to answer your questions. All right. Once again, under the configuration tab, under multi-factor authentication, under authenticator settings, all I need to do to ensure that every single user's endpoints has an additional factor of authentication is by simply checking this box. Check this box to ensure that every user, when logging into their machines every single day remotely, also have to verify their identity once again, not just with their native Active Directory password, but also with an additional factor of authentication that you have enabled for users in your organization. Let me show you how this works. I'm going to pretend to be a user and try and log in right here. So I've given my, oh, sorry about that. I have given my AD password, all right. And what would typically happen is I would be able to log in and access my machine. I've taken a remote desktop connection. But what's happening here is I'm redirected to the AD Self-Service Plus console where I need to verify my identity yet again. I'm going to answer the security questions. I can pick any authenticator that works for me. And only after I verified my identity twice, because of two-factor authentication, log-on two-factor authentication being enabled, will I be able to access Sharda's account. All right, this is how it's going to be for every single user in your organization, provided you have enabled a secondary factor of authentication for their Windows, Mac, and Linux systems. So irrespective of which part of the world they're in, when they log in and access their machines, they will have to do it only after verifying their identity twice. And now, another question that I usually get when I talk about password, when I usually talk about logon is what happens when the user cannot establish an access to the AD Self-Service Plus server. That's also an option that is explained right here. You can bypass two-factor authentication if the AD Self-Service Plus is down, if the authentication cannot be verified, which is a very, very rare scenario. But once again, it's a checkbox. So it's completely up to you as an administrator to pick different authenticators based on different OUs and groups present in the Active Directory. You can also pick different authenticators that you would like users in your organization to pick from instead of setting a particular mode of authentication as mandatory. All right, I'm going to take time to answer a couple of questions that I've received. Should we have to install the Manage Engine Password agent in client computer to make this feature active? To work with endpoint multi-factor authentication, you do not have to have the Manage Engine Password Sync agent, but you need the agent to perform password resets. Okay, let me show you how that works. Okay, another question that I have is, does password synchronization work if a user changes their email password? Will it sync with Active Directory? It works the other way around, Hussein. It doesn't work. If a user changes their email password, it will not sync with Active Directory. What will happen is the password changes have to happen via AD Self-Service Plus through Active Directory. So here, when we talk about password synchronization with AD Self-Service Plus, it's an Active Directory based password synchronization. So a user has to change, let's say, the Office 365 account password has to be changed from AD Self-Service Plus and not the other way around for it to synchronize with Active Directory. All right, talking about agents, let me quickly access administrative tools. I'm going to click on Gina Mac Linux right here. Click on Gina Mac Linux installation, and this is how it works. So you need to have the Gina Mac Linux installation in users' machines. All right, all the users' machines. So select all user machines and install your Gina Mac Linux extension. Whereas when you talk about the password sync agent, it has to be deployed in a member server or your primary domain controller, based on what works best for you, what suits users in your organization. I'm also going to talk a bit about updating cache credentials over the VPN, which is something which is very, very critical at this point of time. Because what happens typically is if a user is not within the network, they will still be able to perform a successful password reset, but the problem will arise only when the user goes back to the network and the password that has been reset does not match with the cache that's available in AD, all right? So please make sure that you have a VPN tunneling in place to ensure that a domain user password's cache is also updated, all right? So AD Self-Service Plus will allow users to reset their passwords remotely because it's hosted on the internet, and the password reset will be successful no matter what. But what's important is to be able to access your native Active Directory, the domain itself, in order to update the cache credentials. And this is the only way it can be done because Microsoft wants it to happen this way. So all you need to do is establish a VPN connection and it's going to be seamless. Also, one other alternative is to host AD Self-Service Plus on the internet. In this case, password resets and cache credential update will happen automatically because of it being accessible via a secure link. All right. Okay, I'm going to quickly talk about the password sync as well before I proceed further. So when I go to password sync right here, you can see that the account linking, let me pick up Office 365 because I have configuration ready. So the account linking happens based on Active Directory. So the source attribute is your AD attribute and the target attribute is your application attribute. So here the mapping happens with the SAM account name of AD to the user principal name of Office 365, which is what I meant by Active Directory based password synchronization. So when a user tries to reset their Office 365 password from the AD Self-Service Plus console, it will be synchronized with Office 365, but unfortunately, it does not happen the other way around. They cannot reset the password in Office 365 and expect it to be synced with your domain logon password. I hope I answered your question. I hope that clarifies your question. If you do have any more questions, please keep them coming. If I missed out on something, please let me know. All right. Okay, so now we have taken care of securing logons with two-factor authentication. This is going to push us multiple steps ahead when it comes to password security, simply because of the fact that when I have more than two authenticators that I need to verify identity with before getting access to my machine, I save the trouble of stolen passwords. Let's pretend that my password has been compromised, it's been stolen. I probably wrote it down in a sticky note and somebody else has access to it. They will still not be able to log in and access my machine if I have a secondary factor of authentication enabled. And once again, one of the easiest ways to prevent a password-based attack for users in your organization is to have more than one authenticator. So even during the worst case of your password being compromised, the threat will not have access to your system, your machine, your data, simply because of the fact that they cannot verify or compromise the secondary factor of authentication easily, especially if it's something like a user's fingerprint or a time-based code that is sent with the user's personal device. All right. And let me tell you this is the future. There will be a point of time when every single organization has made two-factor authentication mandatory for every single application, for every single logon. And I would say let's make the change today. Let's take the step today and try and do this right away, especially at this point of time when you know that you work with multiple users in your organization and they are susceptible to being victims of cyber attacks. All right. Yes, one question that I've repeatedly had is, this session is being recorded. We will provide you the recording of this particular webinar. It will reach your inbox after today's session, after it's processed. So yes, I think I had 2 or 3 questions about today's session's video recording. It's being recorded live and it will reach your inbox after the session. Thank you. If you guys have any more questions, please let me know. I would be more than happy to take your questions online. If you want me to show you any other feature of AD Self-Service Plus as well, or talk about any important aspect of password security, I would be more than happy to do that. But now I'm going to deal with the third factor that that is to be paid critical importance to. So we spoke about having multiple factors of authentication to avoid misused user credentials, misused user identities. We spoke about having factors of authentication for logons to avoid stolen passwords. Now let's tackle how we can improve weak passwords. I'm sure you already have a fair idea of how this works. All you need to do is have a better password policy in place and enforce this across AD, across Azure, across multiple other on-premises and cloud applications that users in your organization have to work with. I'm sorry about that. Uh, Once again, I have pre-configured this. I've disallowed a lot of words, a lot of patterns that are usually used. I have my organization name, I have QRT, I have the word password. You can go about and add admin, you can go and add test, you can go and add days of the week, months of the calendar, whatever works best for you can be added to the modified patterns list. I've also disabled the entire dictionary, which means users cannot make use of dictionary words. You can choose to input or add your own, upload your own default dictionary. So just pick the dictionary that you'd like to import, and those words will also be restricted. We allow the passphrase rule. We have a history rule as well. We have rules about username, a particular character used more than 2 times consecutively. The best part is this particular policy is enforced across all the all the password reset and change password pages, including the control alt delete screen, as well as the ADUC console. Once again, which is one of my favorite things about this particular tool. So let's say I'm an end user and I try to reset my password, right? What happens is the password that I need to abide to, the complexities that I need to meet is displayed right here on my screen. When I type my new password and try to reset this as my password, I've stopped right here. My password is downright rejected because it has a common word, which is a restricted pattern. It also has the dictionary word. This is great because no more weak passwords, no more weak characters, no more dictionary words, no more characters that can be easily compromised, enough complexity, and you can also display this to users so they're aware of all the complexity rules that they need to meet, which means admin 123, tested 123, passworded 123, and all these other easily predictable weak passwords can be disallowed. Users cannot set these weak passwords across any reset password or change password pages. Once again, the best part is administrators will also not be able to do that. So let me show you how that works. I am accessing my ADUC console. I've logged in as an administrator. I'm working on the server itself, which basically means I have the utmost permissions. Let me click on Sharda's account right there. Click reset password and try to set this as a password. And I have a prompt on my screen which tells me Windows cannot complete the password change for Sharda because it does not meet the password complexity requirements. This is great. This is great because you can apply this complexity rule even for your certain on-premises and cloud applications with the help of password synchronization. Let me get to that very, very shortly. I'm going to jump to policy configuration right here. Go to advanced settings. Let me click on password sync. I'm going to choose users to deselect Active Directory during reset password and account unlock. Click on OK. Sign out as an administrator, sign back in as an end user. All right, logging in. Please make sure that you note, even while I log in and access Sharda's AD Self-Service Plus portal, I will have to verify my identity for a second time because two-factor authentication has been enabled for the end user portal. This is simply because if single sign-on is enabled, I have a one-click seamless access to multiple applications right here, both to G Suite and Zendesk. I also have password synchronization enabled for Office 365, which means I need to secure access to users and user portal as well. This is where I will be able to perform self-update of personal information. Let me quickly do a change for you to notice. It's a random number. I'm working with test accounts, so no worries there. Click on update. Successfully updated user properties. The mobile number is right here. I'm going to access my ADUC console. pick the mobile attribute to show you that the random number that I just typed is automatically updated. So any changes that an end user makes, any personal information changes that an end user makes from the AD Self-Service Plus portal is automatically updated real time in Active Directory. But more importantly, when I try to reset my Office 365 password as an end user, I will still have to comply with the password complexity rules. And if not, I have a password rejection message with why my password is failed, which means no more weak passwords for Office 365 as well, or any application for which password synchronization has been enabled. As an end user, this is where I can enroll with different authenticators. I will have a seamless one-click access to single sign-on enabled applications. I can also integrate with Service Desk Plus to have or create tickets for user self-service actions. All right. With that said, I have almost come to the end of today's session. If you do have any specific questions, please keep them coming. I'm going to do a very, very quick recap of all that we saw in today's session and also take time to answer your questions. Okay, I have a question about the cloud version. We do not have a cloud version. AD Self-Service Plus is an on-premises software. You will be able to host it on the internet, but it will still be an on-premises software. The hosting on the internet is basically to have an easy access to the application using a web browser. All right, I have a very interesting question about password resets. If a user has a personal laptop and if GinaCP is not possible, what are the other options? Can we enforce them to download the mobile app or the AD Self-Service Plus website? All right, how AD Self-Service Plus works is it's an on-premises solution, but it's a web-based solution. So users will be able to reset their password from any web browser. They will be able to reset their password from any mobile browser as well as the mobile app if GinaCP is out of option. All right. I hope that answers half of your question. The second half being, if users in your organization have an iOS device, you can mandate download of the mobile app. You can automatically deploy the AD Self-Service Plus mobile app for them. We do not have this support for other OS yet. We do not have automatic mobile app deployment. But what you can do instead is you can send out an enrollment notification to all users in your organization about the AD Self-Service Plus password reset tool. And you can embed an option to download the AD Self-Service Plus mobile app in the mail. So there is something that you can do. Let me show you how it works. So what we typically do is when we get started working with the solution or when we work with organizations that have just deployed AD Self-Service Plus, we have an option here called Quick Enrollment, where you can send an enrollment notification via email. And this allows macros. You can also have an HTML format. It supports an HTML format. So basically just embed a link to download the AD Self-Service Plus mobile app for users in your organization. You can also embed the web browser access URL, which can be configured right here, which means I will receive a mail which reads, we have deployed a new password self-service tool. It will basically help you with your password resets. It's easy to enroll, and then the access URL. Let me quickly check if I have. Right here, I have an email. So if you notice, I have a link which will redirect me to AD Self-Service Plus, an access URL link, which will redirect me to AD Self-Service Plus. And this is a mail trigger to a particular user. All right. We also have a stepwise enrollment option for mobile devices, allowing users to download the AD Self-Service Plus mobile app as well. Can two-factor authentication be integrated with our in-house web applications? Unfortunately, not at the moment. We support two-factor authentication only for endpoints. And when I say endpoints, it's only for users' machines, which is Windows, Mac, and Linux systems, which run in your Active Directory. Oh, Gina is, what is Gina? I have a question that says, what is Gina? Gina is basically the Windows agent. This is Gina. Windows calls this Gina. I think enterprises have a method of naming, like we have Siri and Cortana. Gina is also a name given to the client. The Windows client is called Gina. Do I have any more questions? Can I use different policy and security settings? Absolutely, you can. So if you remember, I started the session talking about having 3 different policies with different permissions right here. These policies are basically a reflection of how my Active Directory works. So click on select OUs and groups. I will be able to do this based on domains. I will be able to do it based on multiple domains, based on OUs or groups present in the Active Directory, and selectively give access to all of these, let's say, access to applications, different self-service permissions, different password policies, all that and much more can be done. Yes. So your question was about 2-factor authentication. You will be able to achieve that as well. You can selectively enable 2-factor authentication. Let me show you, I've done it too. So for the policy admin, I have endpoint MFA enabled. Whereas if I pick, let's say, finance, go to authenticator settings, I do not have it enabled for finance users. So yes, you will be able to selectively do it based on OUs and groups present in the Active Directory. All right, I really hope I've answered most of your questions. If you do have any more questions, please let me know. I would love to take time to answer your questions. So today's session was very, very brief. It was all about 3 important aspects of password security when it comes to your native Active Directory, starting with allowing end users to take care of their own password resets while having multiple factors of authentication to help them verify their identity seamlessly, and also notifying them about their impending account or password expiration. These are 2 simple ways in which we can avoid a misused user credential compromise. All right, moving on, it's important for you to have a secondary factor of authentication for across logons. And when I say across logons, AD Self-Service Plus supports it only for your native Windows Active Directory logon. For all 3 OS, Windows, Mac, and Linux systems. But I would urge you to have a secondary factor of authentication enabled for any cloud application, any on-premises application, wherever feasible, just to improve the security posture of these logons or users logging to these applications every day. So please have an additional layer of authentication for every single logon across your organization. Also make sure that password itself is secure. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to improve the native Windows Active Directory password policy by introducing more complexity. You can do this selectively based on OUs and groups present in the Active Directory, thereby tackling 3 major aspects of easy targets or easy compromise of user identities or easy targets for password-based compromise, which is weak passwords, stolen passwords, and misused user credentials. I really, really hope this session was informative. Please post your questions if you have any. I'm going to be here for the next 10 to 15 minutes to answer all your questions. You can also write to me anytime. I would be more than happy to reach out to you for a personalized demo or even to have a quick chat about what works best for users in your organization. Anything about Active Directory, password management, identity and access management, please feel free to write to me and I'd be more than happy to assist you. I am available at sharda@manageengine.com. With that said, I'm going to quickly wrap up today's session. But before you check out, please take a couple of seconds to answer the poll that is listed on your screen. This will basically help us understand our audience better and customize the session better for our upcoming sessions. So if you are an existing customer or if you're currently evaluating AD Self-Service Plus, please let us know. I have another question about integrations. You have a cloud version. Hussein, you said you have a cloud version of Help Desk Plus. Are we talking about a Service Desk Plus Cloud? Please let me know yes or no. Perfect. I'm really sorry to say this, but we do not integrate with Service Desk Plus Cloud yet. Since AD Self-Service Plus is very much an on-premises solution, it integrates only with the on-premises version of Service Desk Plus. But I can promise you that it is in the cards and we are hoping to roll it out very, very soon. Pramod, can you please write to me? I will assist you in terms of server configuration. If you do have any questions, please keep them coming in the questions tab or chat box. All right. I really hope you've taken time to answer the poll questions. I'm going to leave it there for a couple of more seconds. Please take a couple of seconds to answer the poll question that is listed on your screen. AD Self-Service Plus is an application that can be, AD Self-Service Plus is an on-premises application. You can run it as an app or a service. Also, you need to install it in your member server or your domain controller. It has to have access to your servers. There is no limitation on the number of servers. I really hope that answers your question, but I can give you a detailed answer if you can reach out to me personally, so please do. Thank you so much. I'm going to quickly wrap up the poll question and post the session feedback. Please take a couple of seconds to let me know if today's session was informative, how I did as a presenter, was the topic helpful, were your expectations met. This is what is going to help me improve myself and improve the session for all of you. If you do have any more questions, if you have any suggestions, comments, and ideas, please feel free to pass it on to me. I'm still available for questions, so if you do have any more questions, please let me know. All right. Thank you so much for taking time to answer the poll and the feedback. All right, I'm going to quickly wrap up for the day. If you have more questions, you can always reach out to me personally at shard@manageengine.com. Before I sign out, I want to pass this message on. Please take utmost care of yourself during these difficult times. I know a lot of us are going through hardships, but I really hope and pray that all of us come out of this as stronger and better individuals. Until then, all love and prayers for you, for the well-being of you, your family, your friends, your near and dear. And I wish for nothing else, nothing more than that, but good health and happiness for all of you. Thank you so much for being a wonderful audience. Thank you for taking part in today's webinar. I really hope it was informative and looking forward to seeing you all in the near future and the upcoming sessions as well. Take care until then. This is Sharda Murthy from the marketing team of ManageEngine, a product expert in AD Self-Service Plus, signing off for the day. Have a wonderful day, week, and year ahead.